Well, according to the Washington Post fact checker, President Trump's speech last night was littered with the same false or misleading claims he has so often repeated as president. Here are just 3 of the 18 unfounded false or exaggerated claims the president made, and the Washington Post has debunked. Here they go.
We passed VA choice for the veterans. They've been trying to get that passed also for about 44 years. We will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. We stared down the unholy alliance of lobbyists and donors and special interests who made a living bleeding our country dry. That's what we've done.
Well, the Veterans Choice Program he mentioned, which President Trump took credit for, was sponsored by the late Senator John McCain and signed into law by President Barack Obama. On health care, the Trump administration is pushing to repeal the entire Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, including its protections for people with pre-existing conditions. So he wants to get rid of that protection, not protect it. And President Trump, who says he's draining the swamp, look at this, has filled his cabinet, and he keeps filling with former lobbyists. He's got 4 of them now in the cabinet, lobbyists, a Republican mega donors in there, and a former hedge fund executive. I don't know, Susan, but maybe it's impossible to put together a clean as a whistle cabinet, but he looks like he's going back to, to the people from Daddy Warbucks types, the kind of people that make their lives selling war equipment as his defense secretaries.
Oh, yeah, and he happens to like now that most of them are acting in those positions because he feels that he can hold it over their heads. I don't know. He really, he said only the best, and I think we really have seen just the bottom of the barrel, frankly.
Yeah, Manafort was one of his first choices. There's cleaning the swamp. Anyway,
wait, I will say one thing. Mattis was a really good choice. So was Tillerson. So I'll give him that.
He's better off at helping people get better prison assignments than picking people as his cabinet. He's much better at that these days. Jill, thank you.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.